Metro Atlanta brewery is going to be shutting its doors for good, and this is a trend we have been seeing across the city over the last few years. Atlanta News First Bridget Spencer went to End Brewery on the west side in its last week open.
Robert Holborough has been with End Brewing since they opened in 2019.
It's one of the places that was actually built in the community.
They weathered the uncertainty of COVID-19.
The pandemic was a rough time. We had a period when we closed down.
But 5 years later, they're closing their doors permanently.
I know people who've gotten married or meeting somebody here, and kids are starting to come here and all stuff, so it's really been a staple for the last 5 years.
This is a trend we've been seeing lately in Metro Atlanta. In the same week, Torched Hop announcing they're also tapping their last kegs. They joined the more than a dozen area breweries that have closed just within the last few years. It's a trend the Georgia Craft Brewers Guild is watching closely.
There's a lot more competition. There's been a number of economic pressures, supply chain issues, rising cost of goods.
Joseph Cortez with the Guild was not too surprised to hear about these closures a month after we first spoke to him. In a statement, he says in part, quote, "While these small businesses struggle under the weight of outdated and crushing state regulations, well-funded special interests like the Georgia beer wholesalers fight to preserve the status quo." End hopes to see their customers at their farewell bash next weekend.
Definitely love to see all the people that have been coming to us.
In Atlanta, Bridget Spencer, Atlanta News First.